Alec Baldwin, his lawyers saying they look forward to their day in court after a grand jury charged the actor with one count of involuntary manslaughter and the death of the cinematographer on the set of the movie Rust. ABC's Zoreen Shah joins us now. Zoreen, this is another major development. Good morning.
Whit, good morning. A major development for sure. It seemed like Alec Baldwin was let off that hook in that accidental shooting death of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins less than a year ago. But this reversal could hold major consequences for the actor.
This is a crime scene.
This morning, a New Mexico grand jury indicting actor Alec Baldwin on an involuntary manslaughter charge a second time in the 2021 accidental shooting death of Rust cinematographer Halyna Hutchins.
Whatever you want to do.
Yes, sir. All right.
Prosecutors said facts surfaced from a firearms report last August, revealing the revolver in the shooting was found to function properly and the trigger had to be pulled for the weapon to fire. 2 months later, it led them to believe that Baldwin has criminal culpability in Hutchins' death. This indictment charges him with involuntary manslaughter, negligent use of a firearm, or in the alternative, without due caution or circumspection. If found guilty, Baldwin can only be convicted of one of these charges. Back in April, special prosecutors dropped all manslaughter charges against Baldwin after sources say the gun was determined to be mechanically improper. At the time, those prosecutors saying this decision does not absolve Mr. Baldwin of criminal culpability and charges may be refiled.
Were you in the room when someone was
I was the one
shot?
holding the gun, yeah.
Okay.
Baldwin has long maintained he was not responsible for the gun going off, saying he was told the gun did not contain any live rounds and there was not supposed to be any live ammo on the set. During initial questioning, Baldwin saying he never pulled the trigger.
And I took the gun, I'm showing him, I'm going to go like this, like this, like this. Cock and turn, bang, it went off. The first time.
Okay, so it was your...
It was the very first time that we were shooting that shot, that we were rehearsing for that shot.
Weeks later, doubling down in an exclusive interview with George Stephanopoulos.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never.
Baldwin's attorney saying they look forward to our day in court. And the attorney for Hutchins' family says they're looking forward to Baldwin's criminal trial, which will determine if he should be convicted. Whit.
Zoreen Shah for us. Thank you so much. Joining us now is ABC News legal contributor Matt Murphy. Matt, good morning to you. It's great to have you. So help us follow along here. Baldwin was originally charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter, but those charges were dropped last spring. What do we know about why prosecutors are seeking an indictment now?
Well, what's interesting about this part of the process is this is a grand jury indictment. So by the very nature of that, it's secret. So we won't know exactly what was presented to the grand jury unless and until the transcripts of that are revealed. But what they've said publicly is that these new gun reports, they test the functionality of firearms. That's standard in murder cases. This one went all the way back to the FBI and also the local crime lab. Apparently this gun could not have fired, according to prosecutors, unless he in fact pulled the trigger.
So with this indictment, what would prosecutors actually have to prove Baldwin did wrong?
So essentially involuntary manslaughter in New Mexico and every other state, it's basically what's known as criminal negligence. So if somebody does an act, a lawful act that is done recklessly and somebody dies as a result or without due caution and circumspection is the language, that means that that's essentially the standard for criminal negligence. There's ordinary negligence, and then there's criminal negligence. That's encapsulated in an involuntary manslaughter in the state of New Mexico.
Was it a mistake for Baldwin to do those interviews and speak publicly about this case?
So I have worked with Alex Spiro, who is a very fine attorney. He's one of the people that represents Alec Baldwin. And as soon as I saw that interview that he gave with George Stephanopoulos, I just knew that Alex was pulling his hair out someplace. That is not a good move for anybody that's under investigation for homicide. The more you talk, he gave an interview with police, but every time a criminal suspect gives a statement like that, especially when it's public, as Alec Baldwin gave, that's going to be open up to scrutiny for inconsistencies, for any sort of differences in those two interviews. And it's pretty much never a good idea to do that. We all, or at least a lot of us, watched that interview. And, one of the big questions I have for this is whether or not he'll testify. I suspect he will. That means that at trial, the prosecution's going to have 3 different statements made by Alec Baldwin, at least, as well as any statements he made to anybody else outside of his lawyers, priests or spouse, anybody else, those statements are admissible. That's never good for somebody that's on the stand. That's never good for a criminal suspect. Now, this is still a very challenging case. It's important for everybody to remember, of course, that he's presumed innocent. But yeah, I think he talked himself into some trouble here.
Something to watch. So many twists and turns in this case. Matt Murphy, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.